Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let me expand on. Is it ready, honey? Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is part 3, right, Elena? Part 3. And okay, what I want to say is, if I was doing this chart, and I can put this chart actually up on the screen, we're going to be together for another 4 weeks, and every week we're going to be doing a lot of our own, looking at our own charts. So it gets pretty personal, and we become pretty close that way. I think usually I find that happens. We become more combined and unified, and we get to know each other. That's what makes for relationships, is knowing each other. If you've walked in my shoes, you know me a little better. You can love me, okay, or hate me, whichever. But you love me anyway. So when you get to know each other astrologically, it's the same thing. You start to bind together. You understand each other. So, and sometimes I might step over the line. Stop me if I'm going too fast, too far about your own chart. I don't want to do that. And I don't. This isn't a personal reading. You want a personal reading? Come to me for a private reading. Private sessions, they're about an hour and a half, at least that long, and they're very complex and very long. But right now, we're going to look at charts in the class a little bit and see how they're read. So the first thing I would do in your case is I look to Mars, okay, is joined with Mercury. Mercury rules your ascendant. That means it's Mercury is your destiny planet. What does that mean? It means that it's the most important single influence in your life, that planet, Mercury. The fact that it's joined with Mars, and I want to know if it's making aspects in your chart. And I look at it and I say, oh, Mars is at 26 and Mercury is at 23. They're together. That's called a conjunction. What's that mean? In her chart, she's got in the 11th house here, in the 11th house, this is the first house, this is the 10th, 11th, and this is the 12th house over here, okay? So these are house cusps, okay? In her case, she has Mercury and the Sun. Sun's here at 13 degrees of Taurus. She has Mercury at 23 degrees of Taurus, and Mars at 26 degrees Taurus. Okay? Very Taurian lady. Okay? Very Taurus. You do too? You two should get to know each other. His chart. Okay. What that is? Yeah, well, it can be, that's what compatibility is about when you do charts. But the main thing I want to do is that I'm looking to find out more about this woman's destiny and about her life, because I'm looking at the I am planet, the planet that rules the first house. The first house is I am. It's the most important house in your chart as far as your persona, your personality, the way you come forward and express it to others. Mercury, you could have been a teacher, okay? You have that ability. You're probably a great mother as far as teaching. You're very good at making sure your children get good educations. Those things are urgently important to you, okay? Also, the fact that you have Mars in your chart squaring Jupiter right down here. Jupiter's in your chart, Jupiter is at 26 Leo. Okay? Now, because I've been doing this for a lot of years, I don't have to, I know what aspects are aspects. If you start looking at fixed crosses, you know that any sign that's Taurus to Leo, Aquarius, or Scorpio, would make what we call the fixed cross. Okay? In her case, Mars and Mercury are squaring Jupiter. Okay? What does that tell me? Okay? It tells me that, anybody want to take a chance at that? Can we talk about her? Maria, let's talk about her. Okay? What can we say about you? We can say that your future and your direction of your life was altered dramatically from where you wanted to go and where you ended up. Okay? Somehow, I don't know what. Because Jupiter is your future. Okay? your Jupiter was somehow impacted by Mars and Mercury, this square. In other words, your I am was relegated and taken over by another person in probably a marriage. I don't mean it negatively. I'm just saying it's somebody that changed your whole direction of your life, for good or ill. I'm not giving you that. I'm just saying that's important here. And this square, because Jupiter is the future. Jupiter is your optimism. Jupiter is your faith. And that's been a little bit somehow affected by this. Okay, and I don't want to go there, but I mean, I know what I'm seeing, okay? You know, and it's not about doing it in the group. But this has been challenged, okay? And you've had to deal with it, okay? And I don't know what all the particulars are about it. The other thing is, the ascendant being Mercury ruled in Taurus means that you're also very capable of being stubborn about things, okay? And that may be part of the conflict sometimes you have, because you're good at resolve. Once you make a resolution and do something, you tend to be very firm about it, and unmovable once you set yourself down on something. Mercury in that is a good communicator, though, of that. I'm going to let you know why I'm, based on this decision, this is what I'm going to communicate to you. You're good at communicating those things, okay? So it's a blessing in that sense, okay? The thing is that when you're doing a chart, you're looking at the first house, you're looking at the ruler of that house, you're looking at its aspects to other planets in the chart. And that was just one aspect to Jupiter. I mean, you look at the whole chart, it's making a perfect trine to Pluto and Uranus. Okay, her Pluto and Uranus are in Virgo. Okay, so in the fourth house right here, oh, actually I got this in, it should be, there's another house here, fourth house. Try to put it here, fourth. So you have Pluto and Uranus at 20 and 25 degrees of Virgo. So what does that make? Perfect trine. Okay? Uranus is and Pluto are making a perfect trine to her ruler of her ascendant. So this helps offset the square. It also brings a great amount of power to effectively, by the way, this is a really good astrologer's chart, because Uranus is with Pluto. Pluto is transformation, it's regeneration, it's rebirth. It's high intuition is Uranus trine Mercury. Mercury's the mind, Uranus intuition. You would also have an ability with Uranus conjunct Pluto to understand and sometimes maybe even get very strong, called intuition Uranus, of death when it's coming or what somebody's going to die. You would tend to have that very powerful intuition that gives you insights into life and death things. Crises, major crises if somebody's going through. You're real good at this, you know, your intuition. And Uranus is joined with Pluto, Pluto is rebirth, regeneration, but it rules childbirth as well as death. So you could probably pick the child it's going to be a girl, going to be a boy, that type thing. You know, you might see yourself doing that during your lifetime where you really have a sense of things. Intuitively, you pick those things up very strong. It's a psychic chart, very psychic. You combine your psychic ability, which is natural in you, it's inherent in you, with the astrology, you're going to be powerful. And you're going to be the gypsy on the corner doing readings. Forgive me, but you will be. So that's the woman, that's who you are. Anyway. Yeah. You know, but see how fun this is. I mean, you know, it really is. It starts talking to you. It begins to talk to you. Okay? You know, and so if we were together and not in a group, I would pursue some things here, but I'm not going to do that in a group. So, okay, so everybody knows their ascendant. Who doesn't? Anybody? You got your ascendant? What's your chart? What's your ascendant? Tell me what your ascendant is. What's your ascendant? Libra. Okay. Huh? Yeah, I do, don't I? Oh, I don't. You're right. You're right. I don't. Okay. Well, we can bring it up next week. I'll try to get it into the flow of things here. Let me keep on a little bit. Everybody knows now how to see their ascendant, right? Okay. And you know, you kind of get a feeling of the way I interpret, and I look for aspects to the ruler of that ascendant. Yes, honey.
The rising sign is the ascendant?
Good for you.
All right, that's
Good.
what I just wanted to be sure.
And what is yours?
But what is yeah, it's Virgo, but then you have here down here, ruler, ascendant, Mercury.
I have what? Yeah, Virgo is ruled by Mercury.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, yeah. Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you have Neptune rising in the east. It's right on the ascendant when you were born. You know, this is love of mystery. Okay, could have been a mystery writer. Neptune.
No wonder I like this guy.
Okay. So anytime you look at the ascendant, you look at, in her case, she has Neptune right on the rising sign, right, rising in the east when she's born. So, you know, this Neptune has many meanings, just like Pisces does. Okay? It can be all the Piscean things, which can be sorrow, self-undoing. It can be all that. It can be issues of health very often, Neptune, okay? Very often it's something to do with, and you're from a good stock. Your mom lived to be 101 years old. I mean, talk about genetics, huh? What? Look at that, you're good stock there. So anyway, so let me kind of keep on path. It's hard sometimes to do this because I get so diverted. Houses and sign. We understand now the houses don't change. They're always in the same place. The ascendant is always the ascendant. It's always the first house. The planets move through those. And the houses show where in your life they have an effect. The cardinal signs take action. They're very active. What are the cardinal signs? You need to know this. What are the cardinal signs in a chart? Capricorn. Good for you. You want to learn that. You know why? Because the cardinal signs are physical. If you have a cross of planets in physical cardinal signs, this can produce physical problems. Okay? Because cardinality can do that. It can produce problems of a physical nature. Cardinal signs are usually if a person has a lot of afflictions in those signs, they will have a lot of health issues. Okay? Can they be brought out of that and maybe, if they're taught right, maybe not have them? But generally they do. Do you remember I told you I was doing a reading last week for the guy that had the knee problem? Do you remember I mentioned that? Did I mention that? You know, and one of my students brought him for a reading, and I had written on top of his chart, the Music Man. And I find out that I said, you were a past life, you were a fiddler. And he says, I play the viola, whatever, I guess it's like a fiddle today. And he's a musician, and he travels around the world. Actually, he's in Ireland right now playing. But as he's sitting there, and I'm looking, and I see in his chart, I notice that he has Saturn sitting here in Capricorn. Whoops, no, I had that wrong. He had Mars in Aries right here. Mars in Aries. And he had Saturn down here in Capricorn, exact squaring each other. That's the cross of between these two planets, 90 degrees. That's the cross. It's 90 degrees. There's in a square is 90 degrees, 180 is opposition. If you were born on a full moon day, your sun and moon are opposed. They're opposite in a chart. The moon would be on one side, the sun on the other. That's called an opposition in a chart. That creates stress or affliction, as we call it. In his case, Mars is very powerful. It's in Aries. Saturn's in its own sign, Capricorn. And we're sitting there, and I said, my God, I said a couple things to him. I remember I said, you've never been in a relationship that lasted, and you never will marry because you can't maintain a relationship. And he said, that's me. And then I said, you should have an injury to your knee. Why did I know that? Because remember I told you every sign rules a part of the body. Aries rules the head, Taurus the neck, Gemini the arms and the hands and the lungs. Cancer rules the breast and the stomach. Leo rules the back. Virgo rules the lower bowels. And Libra rules the kidneys and the reins. Scorpio rules the sexual organs. Sagittarius rules the thighs. Capricorn rules the knees. And Aquarius rules the ankles. I mean the calves rather. Sagittarius here, Aquarius here, and Pisces rules the feet. So when I look at a chart, here, remember I said cardinal signs can do what? Be physical. He has the most powerful Mars-Saturn square that you can have in a chart in cardinal signs. And I said you should have a knee injury. He says, look at Ron, pulls his pants legs up. He's got a scar, and a surgical scar on his knee. He fell on a piece of concrete on a slippery day and broke his knee bone right in half, the kneecap. And they had to splint it back together. He was incapacitated for a long time. The point being, the chart's talking to me. It says there's something going on here. Mars and Saturn are physical planets. Cardinal signs are physical signs. There's got to be something in that chart that's talking to me that's saying there's something physical here. And I know what part of the body because it's Capricorn, being afflicted from Mars. Mars will mar or injure. It'll cut, so he had the surgery. And Saturn is the bones, the teeth, the bones. A person that has a lot of Saturn afflictions in their chart tends to have problems with their teeth and with their bones. Remember my daughter's boyfriend? I said he's got arthritis. Why did I know that? Because his Saturn was so afflicted he had to have arthritic problems. That's what the chart's talking to you. Yes, hon?
What is Saturn to square your ascendant?
You know, I don't read, that's a good, very astute question. I don't read a Saturn ascendant square like other people. I don't read Saturn square midheavens. You know, I don't read those points as a planet energy. I know a lot of people do. Okay, I don't. I would look at the planet's aspects and then see what's going on with Saturn itself. And, you know, Saturn, you know, seems pretty negative, doesn't it? All this stuff about Saturn and Mars and injuries and physical problems and all. But here's the thing about astrology. I think that we are all capable of transcending the laws, coming above the law. The law is what? It's kind of karmic, isn't it? You're born with this, you got to experience this. There's no escaping it because you're born with it. Boy, it's like Mesfin said last time. He said, "What's the difference between free will and destiny? How do you relate all this?" Well, a lot of it's karma. You were born into this life with this chart. It's got a message for you. It's trying to talk to you. It's saying, look, this is who you are, and this is what you have to deal with, and this is what you're here to learn. Okay? Now, what I'll say to you is this. We are all capable of rising above those influences. And that's what the whole Christian message really was about, really. Was what? Free you from the curse of the law. It said Christ came to free us from the curse of the law. What's Christ? Love. Love came to free you of the curse. So we are able to break that curse if we start loving ourselves and loving others. Because no longer are we bound by the law anymore. We're not living under the law. I believe this, and it's controversial. I don't always say it, but I believe this. I don't know that I say this. Well, I'm going to. The scripture says, well, I'm Sagittarius. I just put it out there anyway, don't I? Scripture says that your sins of your father are passed down to the third and fourth generation. Right? Well, that doesn't seem very fair. I mean, what do I have to worry about what my father's father did? You know, third and fourth generation. I don't know. I don't understand that. What did I do to deserve that? Well, first of all, we can look at genetics. As we know more and more about genetics, we realize that you might be born with a predisposition for some ailment that you don't even deserve. You don't feel you do. Why did I get it? But yet your great-grandparents passed down a gene that causes you now to suffer something that you didn't expect to have in your life. Is that not third and fourth generation? That's one way. But there are other ways, I believe. And I think it's the belief systems. And I'm going to share this, and I hope it doesn't offend anybody. But I was shown this once. Why have the Jews suffered so much throughout time? Think about this. In almost every third and fourth generation, they've been persecuted beyond measure. And it goes on and on and on. Okay? And I'm going to tell you what I believe, and I hope it's not offensive. I believe it's because they still embrace the law as their master. Okay? Because if you're going to make the law your master, it's going to hold you to the last tittle. You're going to be found, you're under the curse of the law. And there's no escaping it. It's going to come back to bite you. Whereas the Christian message was what? We can free you from the curse of the law. You don't have to live under that curse anymore if you accept what? Accept Christ. Does that mean in a fundamental way? No, it means in the understanding of the meaning of that. In other words, you embrace, you forgive yourself and forgive others. My ex-wife was Jewish. 13 years, I got 2 children. They're Jewish, right? Their mother's Jewish. I found out when I did a genetic study on myself, because I never knew my father, I wanted to know, who am I? My son's a genetic engineer from my marriage here. And he graduated from college a year or so ago. And he sends me a genetic test. And I find out I'm 44.9% Ashkenazi Jew. I would have never known that. All my friends all my life have been Jewish, and it seems like they've been my business partners, my friends. They've been the loyalist of all throughout my life. What's genetics? I would have never known that. Like one of my Jewish friends says, if Hitler had known that and had genetics, they'd have put you in a gas chamber back then. You know? Because they would have had that information back then. They didn't have it then. Thank God, you know? Point I'm getting at is back to this thing, is I think that if you're living under the law, if you think you're going to make yourself righteous by your actions, if you think that you can pray or eat or lay on an altar and go to the temple, or, you know what I mean, and make yourself righteous, you're never going to get there. Because you're still under the law. You think you can deserve it. You think you can earn it. You can't. It's by grace, which means unmerited favor. Is this making sense to you? So that's what I believe, okay? Maybe off the wall, but I've seen a lot. I could share more, but I've been told a lot and shown a lot. So we're back to astrology. What does astrology do? It's got you under the law now. And you're looking at your chart and you're saying, I have this square and this opposition, and my God, I'm going to suffer. And I'm here to say, no. I'm going to teach you a way out of that. Because I want to make you master of your chart. I don't want you to be mastered by it. I want to make you a master of your life. I want to see you transform your life. I want to see you walk as a giant amongst men.
But you see, each chart is only to express where you have to overcome adversity.
Very good. Very good. Exactly.
Because every one of us can have negative. I have everything negative. I have more squares than everyone.
No, not really. That's not true. I know better than that.
There are worse than mine.
You're the giant amongst women. Is it hot in here, honey? Can you turn the air conditioner? So, can you turn the air conditioner down? It's still blowing? Is it working? You all comfortable? I'm working up a storm up here, I guess. Okay, good. I'm okay then. All right. Good. All right. So, okay, where were we going? I mean, we were going somewhere there. Yeah. You know, the message is metaphysical. It's a deep metaphysical mystery. That's what my book's about. The greatest story never told. And if you really want to know how all this ties into it all, and what the early Christians were really teaching, it's a whole different story than what the churches are teaching, believe me. Although I believe this, if you really believe something and let's say you're a fundamental Christian, and that's your belief, and you live it. I say, wonderful. I would never try to challenge that or change it. Because if you believe it and live it and act in accordance with your beliefs, and you're really not judging yourself and others, you're gonna be okay. And I don't believe in transforming how would I say it? I don't believe in converting others to believe what I believe. I don't believe in that. I share what I believe, and if it fits, fine. If it doesn't, that's good. But I'm never into arguing with anybody about religions, you know. There's no point. You'll never win. First of all, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Huh? Isn't that the truth? You know, you can't change people's opinions. I mean, if they have them, they have them. Let them have them. I respect it. I say, fine. As long as you don't hurt others with your beliefs, you know, which some people do. As long as you're not hurting others, you know. What is life? This is a poem I wrote when I finally woke up in prison. What is life but love in full sway? Take it away and there's death and decay. If it's contorted and twisted around, it never leaves its infant home ground. But if its presence is stately and true, it edifies and beautifies without a cue. See? That's how I see people, you know. You know, I see this lady, I watch her edify, beautify. I see how she loves others. I see how she spends her life helping others, working with others, touching other people's lives. To me, she's a master walking on this earth. I'm hitting you with my lights.
Thank you.
You are.
Those were
So,
nice words.
well, it's true. But anyway, the point I'm getting at is that we are all potentially walking as masters. We don't have to be mastered by all this. But you need to know it because you can help others with it. It's a great counseling tool. The other reason it's a great counseling tool is because you've got something sitting between you and that person. If I sat here, said, Natasha, you have a lot of problems with men, and you have a lot of problems with this and that, it's insulting. But if I look at your charts, and I think, well, you know what, you have this aspect that is doing this, and this says this, all of a sudden I've disengaged myself from this person, and I'm looking at a chart. There's something there to protect us, keeps us from becoming too personal. You see where I'm coming from? It's an amazing counseling tool. It really is. So, okay, tell me when it's time to eat. I'm getting hungry. Smell all that food. So we all know the difference now between houses. Okay, and planets and signs. The signs can be anywhere on the houses. They move, just like the planets do, okay? In 24 hours, they go shift around 360 degrees, right? So, stop working. Okay. And I was talking about cardinal signs. Okay? They're very active. The best bosses are very often cardinal. Even Cancer. Cancers can be some of the best businessmen at all. Yeah, you know, you don't think so. Yeah. They're some of the best. There's a couple reasons for that. One, it's a cardinal sign, which means they take action. They're very good. They're very good with property and anything to do with homes, you know, anything to do with home. They're very good with anything to do with people because they're emotional. They're very emotional. That means that they have empathy for other people that's working with them. They're not like a Capricornian thing that's, I'm the boss, you better do as I say, and this is the rules, and you break them, you're out. You know, that's Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is, boy, you better play by the rules. This is the law, and these are the rules, and if you violate them, hit the road, Jack. Okay? Okay. So Cancers are one of the best signs for business. In my opinion, I think they're one of the best. Capricorn is very strong. Libra's nice too. Aries can be over a little headstrong. Libra vacillates a little too much. Libra always says, well, what do you think? Instead of making a decision, where we go for dinner tonight? Well, wherever you want. No, where do you want to go for dinner tonight? Well, you make the decision. That's Libra. Libra's never going to make the decision. You know, they want you to make it. You know, they're trying to get along, right? You know, it doesn't work sometimes in business, does it? So, see where we're coming from? All this making sense? Okay, so, all right. This stopped working. I turned it off probably. Let's see, did I turn it off? Maybe I probably burned the battery down. All right. Something's burning, Elena. My nose tells me. Jupiter rules the smell, by the way. Did you know that? Jupiter rules smell. Saturn, Capricorn, rules ears. What makes you hear something? The bones, good for you. Little spurs inside there bouncing back and forth. That's Capricorn, okay? Okay, remember I told you Peter was Capricorn, Saturn in the Bible? Peter? Peter, yeah, Peter.
Bad hearing, what is that from?
Huh?
Bad hearing?
Yeah?
What is that from?
Capricorn, it's usually affliction with Saturn. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The whole family.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Yeah. So, what do you think, Zeus? Get out, that's hot. Okay, so, okay, nothing's still burning? Okay, good. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, so I have to do this because this stopped working. Okay. Okay, Aries, sign of action, initiative, new beginnings. You know, it tends, we say, here's nothing about Aries you need to know. Is anybody in here Aries? Aries. Okay, there we go. We tend to think of Aries as aggressive, assertive, domineering, all that stuff. Aries has two ways of expression, and nobody ever teaches this in astrology. It can be the ram, which charges forward, or the lamb, which is very meek and quiet. Okay? Stays back, okay? And so the Aries doesn't always push and be first, I gotta be first, aggressive, assertive, all that stuff. It can be very lamb-like, you know, very passive. And it's a quality you tend to miss with Aries. As soon as you see Aries, oh my God, you know, you must be pushy, you're Aries, you know, and no way. So you need to know the difference, and I don't know how to tell you why one's different than the other, but they're two distinctly different. Yes, hon?
Men and women are different, are they not?
Exactly, yeah.
Aries men I do not like, I think that's vulgar.
Yeah. They're very often true, very often true. No men in here are Aries, I hope.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we can offend people in here, it's okay.
Not terrible, but I don't like.
I know what you're saying, though. So the favorite time, okay, in Aries is now, let's get it done. It shows where you tend to be active, energetic, and take initiative. And that's where I talk about the timidity and shyness, the sacrificial lamb Aries, and the very little assertiveness. So don't think just because they're Aries, it's got to be that. Especially Aries sun signs. You know, you'll just have to. I have never learned how to know the difference, except I know them when I'm around them. I know her right away. I can feel the difference, you know. The Aries there. Okay, Libra, the sign of reaction. Aries acts, Libra reacts. Aries is individual action. We got a Libra in here? No Libras, okay? Good.
My husband is a Libra.
Okay, well, we can talk about them then. It's a Libra's famous for saying, on the other hand, Libra rules manners and social graces, things which make cooperation in civil society possible. Libra in your horoscope shows where you tend to cooperate, seek partners, love, peace, quiet, harmony, and show good taste. A man that has a strong Libra tends to be, they don't want any conflict. You know, I mean, you got something that's going to disturb their peace, you're going to get some flack back, you know, because Libra wants things to be mellow all the time. Don't shake up the house. Just, you got a problem, take it somewhere else. I mean, that's very often the way Librans are, okay? So, Cancer, sign of instinctive action. You'll figure out a logical solution and then do the opposite because it feels better, okay? That's very often contradictory with it because they tend to move on their feelings. You know, they'll ask, what do you think about this? They won't say, think, how do you feel about this? I'll say, what do you think? I'm Gemini moon, right? Cancers want to say, what do you feel? I don't feel good about this, you know? Something in my stomach says, that's not right, you know? I got a feeling inside that says, this isn't the best thing. But you know, they're very intuitive, they're very instinctual soon, okay? Can be enormously tenacious when it denies something that it wants. Because why? Cancer is the crab. Once they grab on, they don't want to let go. You can't get rid of them. Once they grab on you, you're going to be in their life. Forgive me. They're going to grab on, they're not going to let go. You can push them out, and they'll come back and grab onto you again. You know, and you say, what's going on here? As soon as it gets, it loses interest. Oftentimes, that's the case with Cancer. It's got to be careful. It's nurturing and emotionally sustaining. And without these qualities, life would be cold indeed. The location of the sign of Cancer in your horoscope shows where you tend to be moody, emotional, instinctive, and intuitional. Now, let me tell you something. When I'm talking about this, you say, oh, well, Ron, my sun sign's not Cancer. I say, don't matter. You have the moon in your chart, you have Cancer in your chart. So all this applies to some area of your life. That's why you're going to learn about all the signs, not just your own. Okay? But you need to know your own. I've had people say, well, you know, I think astrology is just too self-consuming. It's all about you, and it's all about, you know. I say, that's good. He said, what do you mean it's good? You know, Shakespeare said it best. He said, know thyself, and it must follow as the night the day. Then thou canst be false to any man. And if I want to learn astrology, I need to start with me. And once I learn that, I can know others. The more I know about me, and more I know about you. That's how life is, okay? Okay. So this is this fun or not? Okay. Not on an empty stomach, Cancer. I'm ready to eat. Okay. Cardinal, Capricorn, sign of careful, calculated, planned action. Calculated. Why? Saturn is Father Time, the measure up of all things. Saturn, Capricorn's always calculating. Okay? Any Capricorns in here? Okay. Are you calculating all the time? Okay. It's much more a masculine thing than it is also feminine. But it's still here. It's like a saturated solution from which crystals form. That's what Cancer is like pure water which dissolves and expands. Capricorn is satiate. The word satiate came from Saturn. Okay? So many words that came from Saturn, okay? Capricorn's the organizer of the zodiac. Without it, the universe would fall to pieces. Fall to Pisces. Okay, fall to Pisces. Because Pisces is scattered brain, you know, it's like everywhere. Capricorn organizes it. Location of Capricorn in your horoscope shows where you tend to be efficient, organized, careful, and ambitious. Very often, the Capricorns can be very reliable. They're time sensitive also, okay? Okay? I don't know how you came late. So anyway, I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you. She got it figured out, see? She's already calculated that one. So, not me, I'm not the fault. Mercury did it. There's that Capricorn talking. Scapegoat. Let's find someone to blame. Oh, Mercury's retrograde on my chart. You can't get by me, Greg. So Capricorn, anyway, all these are cardinal signs, okay? So what are the cardinal signs? Everybody should know them by now. We just went through them all. Good. Good for you. I think you got it. So now we know the cardinal signs. And the cardinal signs are physical. Remember that. They're more physical than any other sign. Oh, yeah, the cross. Perfect cross. Yeah. They're opposition to each other. Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, Aries are opposed. And they're all square in oppositions. That's why you need to know these, because when you're looking at a chart and you say, oh my gosh, it has Mars, like I saw Mars and Aries in that guy's knee chart. And I saw Mars and Aries and I saw Saturn and Capricorn, exact same degree. I knew there was a message there. Okay? If you have a Mars-Saturn affliction, you need something. You know what you need if you have a Mars-Saturn affliction? You need a lot of exercise. You know why? Because Mars gets irritable easy. Saturn gets depressed easy. Guess what? When they're afflicting each other, you better get that tension off, or you're going to be hard to live with. My wife has that. Get out and go to the gym. Get the hell out of here. Why? He said, why? Because that gets her energy out. That gets all that stuff gone. She works out. She gets physical. The more physical, and very generally people have a need for that. They don't know why, but they need to be at the gym. They need to be working out. They need the physical exercise. They're more physical. Why? Same thing, you know, you need that same, because Mars-Saturn is, when they're joined together, I don't know what it's doing the rest of the chart. I'd have to look at the whole chart. You want to see what's going on with that? But generally that's physical needs. Let's grab it. I think it's ready, is it? Take a break? Stop the camera and get out. We'll take a break. Let's all get a bite to eat and enjoy our time apart here. Let me move this. Okay.